You sided with your deceitful mother. Now deal with the chaos you helped create. A concrete slab missed Daniel Morris's head by 3 inches. After 23 years as a structural engineer, this was the closest he'd come to being buried alive. The irony wasn't lost on him. He'd approved the safety inspection for this tunnel 6 months earlier. "God, Daniel, you okay?" Tom Fletcher's voice rang out. "Still breathing?" Daniel shouted back, dusting off his coat. At 48, he could tell fear from adrenaline. The drive home took longer than usual. Rain turned the October evening into a blur of headlights and brake lights. Through the kitchen window, he saw his wife, Catherine, cooking dinner. After 19 years of marriage, he still felt a warmth seeing her there. "There's my hero," Catherine said as he walked in. She was stirring beef stew, her auburn hair tied back. At 45, she stayed fit despite grueling 12-hour hospital shifts. Emma called. She got the promotion. Senior account manager. She's taking us out to dinner this weekend. Their eldest daughter had been grinding away in Philadelphia's marketing scene. The promotion meant she could stop stressing about mortgage payments, which Daniel had been quietly covering. "That's great. What about Sophia?" "You know her. Only calls when she needs cash. Otherwise, silence. She's 18. That's normal." Normal. The unofficial family motto. Normal mortgage, normal tuition, normal marriage. Daniel had built his life on being dependable. "I almost got crushed by a concrete slab today," he said, sitting at the kitchen table. Catherine froze, spoon halfway to her mouth. "What?" "Tunnel inspection. Section collapsed. Missed me by inches. Makes you think about your own mortality." "Are you hurt?" She touched his hand. "Just shaken, but it got me thinking, maybe we should take that vacation. Costa Rica, remember?" Something flashed across Catherine's face. Irritation, frustration, gone too fast to pinpoint. "We can't afford Costa Rica. Not with Emma's situation and Sophia's tuition. We could figure it out. Life's short." "Life's also expensive. Some of us have to be realistic." Her words stung. Catherine had been pulling double shifts, taking on extra administrative work. She was exhausted, stressed. After dinner, she retreated to her office for paperwork while Daniel flipped through TV channels. The near-death experience left him uneasy. He went upstairs to check emails. Catherine's phone was charging on the nightstand, buzzing persistently. Daniel had never been the jealous type. In 19 years, he'd never snooped through her phone or questioned her whereabouts. Trust was their bedrock, but the buzzing drew his eye. It wasn't her usual phone, but a second one he'd never seen. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Room 412 at the Marriott. 132 and her. Fill you." Daniel stared until the screen went dark. He sat in the growing darkness, listening to his own breathing. 2 decades of engineering had taught him to analyze problems methodically, gather data, form a hypothesis, test conclusions. The data was clear. Catherine had a second phone. Someone named W was meeting her at a hotel. Her recent late nights, extra shifts. He crept downstairs, avoiding the creaky third step. Her purse was on the counter. Inside, her regular phone, wallet, keys, nothing unusual. But his fingers found something else. A hotel receipt tucked in a side pocket. "The Marriott downtown, 3 nights ago, room 412. Daniel snapped a photo of the receipt and put it back carefully. His engineer's mind calculated angles, stresses, breaking points. The next morning, Catherine left early. She kissed him goodbye, the same quick peck as always. This time, Daniel noticed what he'd missed before. Her eyes avoided his. Her voice wavered when she said she'd be working late again. Another double shift. Dr. Klein called an urgent board meeting. Budget review. Don't wait up. After she left, Daniel made a call. "Fletcher Investigations." "Tom, it's Daniel. I need to ask you something." Tom Fletcher, his old college roommate, now a private investigator. They grabbed drinks every few months. "What's up, Dan? Hypothetically, if someone wanted to confirm certain activities, what's the best way to go?" Hypothetically, you sound like a guy who found something he wishes he hadn't. Meet me at Flanagan's after work. The day dragged on, filled with concrete and measurements. By evening, Daniel had a hypothesis. Catherine was having an affair. Flanagan's was packed with the usual after-work crowd. Tom was at their booth sipping a beer, scanning sports news. "You look rough," Tom said. "Feel worse." Daniel ordered a whiskey. "Neat. I need your help." He shared the details: the second phone, the hotel receipt, the late nights. Tom listened, jotting notes. Dr. Klein is William Klein, head of orthopedics at Riverside General. Divorced 6 months ago. Messy settlement. "You know him?" "Know of him. His ex-wife hired me during the divorce. Guy's got a rep for blurring lines between work and pleasure. The hospital's been keeping tabs on him since the split. I need to know for sure, Tom. I need proof." "Proof for what?" "Divorce. Maybe, or maybe I just need to know how deep this goes." Tom studied him. "Dan, you're not thinking straight. You're hurt, angry. Don't do anything stupid." Define stupid. Anything that lands you in jail or a coffin. Revenge is a luxury most can't afford. "I'll be careful." Famous last words. That night, Daniel lay awake, listening to Catherine's breathing. She'd come home after midnight, muttering about the board meeting. In the dark, he caught the scent of hotel soap on her skin. He waited until her breathing steadied, then slipped out of bed. The second phone was charging. He scrolled through the messages. They painted a vivid picture. William Klein had been pursuing Catherine for months since his divorce. The texts evolved from professional politeness to explicit plans. Hotel rooms, restaurants, intimate details that turned Daniel's stomach. But the tone hurt most. Catherine sounded different, playful, flirty, vibrant in ways she hadn't been with him in years. She called William brilliant, thrilling. She complained about her dull home life, her predictable husband. Daniel scrolled through months of messages, documenting everything. The latest one made his blood run cold. "William, your husband suspects something." "William, I can help with that. I know people." "Catherine, let's talk tomorrow. Room 412. Daniel put the phone down, went to the bathroom, and splashed cold water on his face. The man in the mirror looked hollow-eyed, pale, aged overnight. His phone buzzed. "Found something. Meet me at lunch tomorrow." The next day crawled by. At lunch, Tom slid a manila envelope across the table. "Good news and bad news." "Good. Your wife's boyfriend is in trouble." "Bad. He's dragging her down with him." Inside were financial records, hospital documents, surveillance photos. Pictures showed Catherine and William entering the Marriott multiple times over 3 months. The hospital's investigating Klein for Medicare fraud, falsifying surgery records, billing for procedures that never happened. They're building a case. What's this got to do with Catherine? She's been helping. Hospital records show she's accessing patient files she shouldn't, backdating authorizations. If they prove her involvement, she's facing criminal charges. Daniel stared at the photos. In one, Catherine was laughing, her face lit with an expression he hadn't seen in years. In another, they held hands across a restaurant table. "How long have you known?" Tom asked. 2 days since I found her second phone. What are you going to do?" "Protect myself, Tom." "She's been planning to leave me. Stealing from the hospital, lying for months, maybe years, and I'm supposed to act like it didn't happen. Don't do anything that'll ruin your life too. My life's already ruined. I'm just deciding what to build from the wreckage." That afternoon, Daniel visited his lawyer. James Morrison had handled their legal matters for years. "I need to discuss divorce proceedings," Daniel said. Morrison grabbed a notepad. "I'm sorry to hear that. What's the basis? Adultery? Fraud? Take your pick." Daniel laid out the evidence. Morrison listened, taking notes. "This is serious. If your wife's tied to Medicare fraud, she could face federal charges. That changes everything." "How so?" "A criminal conviction impacts spousal support, asset division, everything. But you need to tread carefully. Any hint of vigilante justice could backfire." I'm after real justice. I'll file preliminary papers, but promise me something. Don't confront your wife directly. Let the legal system handle it. But Daniel's mind was already exploring other options. That evening, Catherine came home at her usual time, no mention of staying late. She seemed relaxed, almost cheerful. How'd the contractor meeting go? Productive. We're moving forward with the Riverside project. The tunnel that collapsed? Different section. The whole system needs reinforcement. Catherine nodded absently, glancing at her phone, waiting for messages that didn't come. William was likely covering his tracks. Catherine, everything okay at work? You seem distracted. She looked up sharply. What do you mean? You've been working so many extra hours. Board meetings, admin duties. Must be intense. It's fine, just busy. Why do you ask? No reason. I worry about you. Don't. I can handle myself. The edge in her voice was new, or maybe he was just hearing it clearly now. After dinner, she retreated to her office. Daniel waited an hour, then went to their bedroom. The second phone was buzzing. William was panicking. The hospital had called him for a morning meeting. He wanted to see Catherine tonight for damage control. His messages were frantic, desperate. Catherine's replies were calmer but urgent. She'd meet him at the usual spot. They needed to align their stories, protect themselves. Daniel documented everything. Then he made a choice that would change his life forever. He called Tom. I need you to follow them tonight. Record everything. Dan, I don't think, Tom, they're meeting to destroy evidence. If we don't act now, they'll cover their tracks and vanish. What are you going to do? What I should have done from the start. Tell the truth. An hour later, Daniel watched Catherine leave. She said she was checking on her mother, but he knew she was headed to the Marriott. He waited 10 minutes, then made his first call. Hospital security. This is Daniel Morris. I need to report suspected Medicare fraud involving Dr. William Klein and nurse administrator Catherine Morris. The security director listened as Daniel laid out his findings. Financial irregularities, unauthorized access, systematic billing fraud. He had documentation. We'll need you to come in tomorrow morning. Bring everything. The second call was to the FBI's healthcare fraud tip line. The third was to Emma. Dad, what's wrong? It's almost midnight. I need you to come home. We need to talk about something important. Is Mom okay? Your mother's fine, but our family's about to face some challenges. I need you and your sister to hear it from me. You're scaring me. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but everything I'm doing is to protect this family. Can you come tomorrow? Yes, I'll be there by noon. Thank you. And Emma, I love you. Remember that. No matter what happens next. The fourth call was to Sophia's dorm. She was annoyed at being woken, suspicious, but agreed to come home. Daniel's final call was to his mother, Margaret Morris, 72, sharp-tongued, the family's moral anchor. Daniel, what's wrong? Margaret listened, occasionally asking pointed questions that revealed how much she'd suspected. I never trusted her. Too polished, too charming. Your father always said pretty words were like fresh paint. They hide the rot. I loved her, Mom. I still love her. Love doesn't cut it when there's betrayal. What are you going to do? What Dad would have done? Fight for what's right. Good. And Daniel, don't let her take the girls from you. They might blame you for breaking the family, but blood's thicker than water and truth's stronger than lies. Catherine returned at 2 a.m., slipping in quietly. She undressed in the bathroom and slid into bed. How's your mother? He asked softly. What? Catherine stiffened. You said you were checking on her. How is she? She's fine. Needed help with her computer. At midnight? She's a night owl. You know that. Daniel knew no such thing. Catherine's mother went to bed at 9 every night, but he didn't challenge the lie. Good night, Catherine. Neither slept much. Morning brought gray skies and the first frost. Catherine showered and dressed for work. I might be late again. Client situation's getting complicated. I'm sure it is. Something in his tone made her look sharply. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just that workplace issues can get messy. She stared, grabbed her purse. I'll call you later. After she left, Daniel drove to the hospital. The security director was waiting with the hospital's legal counsel and an FBI agent. Mr. Morris, we understand you have information about fraudulent billing. For 3 hours, Daniel laid out everything: unauthorized access, falsified codes, systematic fraud. He provided copies of phone records, financial documents, surveillance photos. This is substantial evidence. We'll need to act fast before they destroy records. What happens now? Search warrants, computers, phones, financial records, probably arrests within the week. What about my wife? Depends on her involvement. If she was following orders, disciplinary action. If she was an active participant, federal charges. One more thing, they're meeting regularly to coordinate. Room 412 at the downtown Marriott tonight, likely around 8. The FBI agent made a note. We'll set up surveillance. Daniel drove home to wait for his daughters. Emma arrived first, her confidence replaced by worry. Dad, what's going on? Sit down, sweetheart. We need to talk. Sophia arrived an hour later, still in a college sweatshirt, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. This better be important. I've got a paper due Monday. It is. Sit down. He told them everything: the affair, the fraud, the investigation. Emma listened with growing horror. Sophia sat in stony silence. So, you're divorcing Mom, Emma said. Yes, because she cheated. Because she betrayed our family in every way possible. This is ridiculous, Sophia snapped. You're tearing our family apart because you're jealous. I'm not tearing anything apart. Your mother did that when she chose to lie, steal, and cheat. Maybe she wouldn't have cheated if you weren't so boring. The words hit like a punch. Emma gasped, but Sophia kept going. You think you're so noble, but you're just a coward. Mom deserves better than a guy who can't even afford a vacation. Sophia, stop, Emma said. No, I won't. Dad, you're pathetic. You sit there with your spreadsheets and boring job, wondering why Mom looked for excitement elsewhere. You pushed her away. I see. And now you're trying to ruin her career because you can't handle that she found someone better. Someone better. Someone who steals from sick people. You don't know what really happened. You're just assuming. I have evidence, Sophia. Documented proof. Then you're sick for spying on your own wife. Emma tried to intervene, but Sophia was on a roll, her 18-year-old righteousness turning cruel. You know what, Dad? I'm glad Mom found someone who appreciates her. She's been miserable with you for years. We all saw it. Mom, me, Emma, even Grandma Margaret. We all talked about how you were holding her back, how she deserved better. Grandma Margaret said that? She said marriage is about finding joy, not settling for security. She told Mom to experiment, see what else was out there. And what did you tell your mother? I told her to go for it. Life's too short to waste on someone who can't make her happy. And you, Emma? Emma's voice was barely a whisper. I didn't know she was with someone else. I thought she was just unhappy. But you encouraged her to leave me. I encouraged her to find happiness. I didn't know she was committing crimes. Daniel stood slowly, feeling heavy, old. I want you both to leave. Dad, Emma started. No. You've made your stance clear. You think I'm boring, pathetic. You think your mother deserves better? You pushed her to find it elsewhere. She'll live with the consequences. What do you mean? Sophia asked, her defiance faltering. You're on your own. No more mortgage help, Emma. No more tuition, Sophia. You can't do that, Sophia said. I can. I've already called the bank. Emma, your mortgage supplements stop now. Sophia, your next semester's tuition is due in January. Find your own funding. That's not fair, Emma said, tears welling. We're your daughters. You're your mother's daughters. You've made that clear. Now choose which parent you want to live with. Dad, please, Emma said. I'm sorry, I didn't mean, you meant every word. Both of you. Don't expect me to pay for the privilege of being insulted and betrayed. Sophia's face paled. You're really going to destroy our family over this? I didn't destroy our family. Your mother did. I'm just deciding who picks up the pieces. He walked to the front door and opened it. I want you both out of my house. Stay with your mother, your grandmother, or your precious Dr. Klein, but you can't stay here. Emma was crying openly. Daddy, please. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. You understood perfectly. You just didn't think there'd be consequences. But I need help with the mortgage. I can't afford. Then you'll lose the house or ask your mother to help. She's been planning to leave me, right? She must have saved money for her new life. Sophia stood, jaw set with teenage stubbornness. Fine, we don't need you anyway. Mom's going to be so much happier without you. I'm sure she will be from her prison cell. She's not going to prison, you're just scaring us. Federal Medicare fraud carries a mandatory minimum of 5 years. Wire fraud adds 5. Conspiracy adds 5. Your mother's looking at 15 years minimum, assuming she cooperates. Sophia's face drained of color. You're lying. I'm an engineer, sweetheart. I don't lie about facts. Emma was sobbing. Dad, please, can't we work this out? Can't we be a family? We were a family. Then you all decided I wasn't good enough. Now you get to live with that choice. He stood by the open door, waiting. After a long moment, Emma gathered her purse and keys, still crying. Sophia followed, her face set in defiant anger. I'll never forgive you for this, she said as she passed. I'll never forgive you either. So we're even. He watched them argue by Emma's car, probably deciding where to go. Finally, they drove off together, leaving Daniel alone in the house he'd bought for his family. He poured a drink and sat at the kitchen table. In 24 hours, he'd lost his wife, daughters, and mother. But for the first time in years, he felt clear about what he needed to do. His phone buzzed. FBI arrested Klein at the hotel. Catherine's in custody. Call me, Tom. Daniel deleted the message and poured another drink. Then he called his lawyer. Morrison, it's Daniel. I need you to speed up the divorce and remove my daughters from my will. Daniel, are you sure? You're going through trauma. The next morning brought news coverage. Dr. William Klein and nurse administrator Catherine Morris were charged with conspiracy to commit Medicare fraud, wire fraud, and theft of government funds. Local news ran their mugshots. Klein looking haggard, Catherine shocked and disbelieving. Daniel's phone rang nonstop. Reporters, neighbors, coworkers, family, friends. He ignored them all. Instead, he drove to his mother's house. Margaret was waiting, having seen the news. She opened the door before he could knock, her face grave and guilty. I heard, she said simply. Did you? Did you hear that your advice to my wife led to federal charges? Margaret walked to her kitchen. I never told her to commit crimes. But you told her to find someone else. You encouraged her to break her marriage vows. I told her to find happiness, at my expense. Margaret turned, chin raised despite her guilt. You were making her miserable, Daniel. She came to me crying, saying she felt trapped, saying she needed more than what you gave her. So you told her to have an affair. I told her to explore her options. Marriage isn't a prison sentence. It's a commitment, a promise, something you and Dad taught me to honor. Your father and I had passion, Daniel. We had fire. You and Catherine had routine. The words cut deep because they held truth. Daniel had built his marriage on stability, reliability, trust. So my daughters knew about this. They knew you were encouraging their mother to leave me. Margaret's face softened slightly. They were worried about both of you. The girls love you. Funny way of showing it. They called me boring, pathetic, said Catherine deserved better. They're young. They don't understand. They understand perfectly, just like you do. Daniel moved toward the door. I want you to know your advice destroyed our family. Catherine's facing 15 years in federal prison. Emma's going to lose her house. Sophia will have to drop out of college, and I'm filing for divorce. Daniel, wait. No, Mom. I'm done waiting. I'm done being the steady, reliable, boring one. I'm done being taken for granted. What are you going to do? Rebuild my life without any of you. He left his mother's house and drove to the courthouse. The divorce papers were ready, along with restraining orders barring Catherine from accessing joint accounts or returning home. The judge will schedule a hearing, Morrison explained. But with the criminal charges, this should be straightforward. You'll get the house, retirement accounts, everything. What about spousal support? A criminal conviction eliminates her claim to alimony. She'll be lucky to avoid total financial ruin. Over the next few weeks, Daniel settled back into his routine. Work, home, solitary dinners, quiet evenings without drama or lies. He found he enjoyed the silence, the predictability, the absence of emotional manipulation. Tom provided updates. Klein's case was hopeless. Pill trafficking charges alone carried a 20-year minimum. Catherine's situation was slightly better. Cooperation might reduce her sentence, but she still faced 5 to 7 years. More importantly, the divorce moved smoothly. With Catherine unable to contest and facing conviction, the court was set to grant Daniel everything: the house, savings, retirement accounts, even Catherine's car and personal property. In December, 3 months after the arrests, Daniel had an unexpected visitor. Vincent Torres stood on his porch in a tracksuit wearing a predatory smile. "Engineer, got a minute?" "What do you want?" "To thank you." Klein paid up with interest. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you don't. But hypothetically, if someone helped collect a debt, they might deserve a finder's fee." Torres handed Daniel an envelope. Hypothetically, it held $5,000 in cash. "I can't take this." "Sure you can. Think of it as payment for services or a Christmas bonus." As Torres left, he turned back. "You know, engineer, you've got a knack for this. If you ever get tired of inspecting tunnels, give me a call." Daniel closed the door and stared at the money. It represented everything he never wanted to be: vengeful, calculating, willing to use violence by proxy. But it also stood for justice when the legal system moved too slowly. Christmas came without fanfare. Daniel spent the day alone, reading and watching old movies. Emma and Sophia sent cards, awkward, desperate attempts at reconciliation that went unanswered. In January, plea deals were finalized. Klein pleaded guilty to all charges for a 25-year sentence, eligible for parole in 15 years. Catherine pleaded guilty to fraud and conspiracy for a 7-year sentence, likely serving 5 with good behavior. The divorce was finalized the same week. Daniel walked out of the courthouse a free man, legally and financially independent, tied to no one and responsible only for himself. Spring brought new construction projects and longer days. Daniel settled into his routine: work, solitary dinners, evening walks, weekend projects. He'd lost 30 pounds and found a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. One evening, Tom stopped by with news. "Klein's dead. Found him in his cell this morning. Apparent suicide. Bedsheet noose." Daniel felt nothing but mild curiosity. "Any note?" "Nothing official. Word is he couldn't face 25 years inside." "What about Catherine?" "Still serving her time. Model prisoner. Could be out in 4 years." They sat on the back porch, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and red. "Ever regret it?" Tom asked. "The way things turned out?" "Regret what? Telling the truth? Refusing to be used? Standing up for myself? Cutting off your family?" "They cut me off first, Tom. I just made it official." "And if Emma or Sophia came to you tomorrow, genuinely sorry, wanting to rebuild?" "They'd find some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt." Tom nodded. "You've changed, Dan. You're tougher now." "I'm more honest now. I spent 48 years being what others wanted: steady, reliable, forgiving. It nearly destroyed me. And now I'm who I choose to be. And I choose not to be anyone's safety net." As summer turned to fall, Daniel learned his mother had died. Heart attack, quick and painless. The funeral was small, church friends, distant relatives, Emma and Sophia looking lost and alone. Daniel watched from across the cemetery, far enough to avoid conversation but close enough to pay respects. When the service ended, Emma started walking toward him, but he was already gone. Margaret's will left everything to her granddaughters. It wasn't much, but it was something. Daniel felt no resentment about being excluded. His mother had made her choice. 2 years after the arrests, Daniel received a letter from Catherine, forwarded through Morrison's office. Daniel, I know you probably won't read this, but I have to try. I've had 2 years to think about what I did to you, to us, to our family. There's no excuse. I was selfish, cruel, and stupid. I threw away 19 years of marriage for a few months of excitement. I know I destroyed everything. I know the girls blame me for losing you. I know I ruined their lives as much as ours. But I need you to know I never stopped loving you, even when I was betraying you. William's dead. He couldn't face the consequences. I think about that every day, how our selfishness caused so much destruction. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know I understand now what I had, what I threw away. You were the best man I ever knew, and I was too foolish to see it. The girls ask about you sometimes. They're struggling but surviving. Emma lost her house but found a smaller apartment. Sophia finished college on loans and grants. They both regret what they said. They love you. I'll be released next year. I don't know where I'll go or what I'll do. I just know I'll spend the rest of my life regretting what I did to you. I love you. I always loved you. Catherine. Daniel read the letter twice, then fed it into the shredder. Love without loyalty was just words. Regret without consequences was just sentiment. He poured a drink and sat on his back porch, watching the sun set over the city he'd spent his career keeping safe. In the distance, he saw the lights of the Riverside Tunnel, stronger now than ever. Some structures could be repaired. Others needed to be torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. Daniel had chosen demolition. 3 years after the arrests, on a chilly February morning, Daniel was inspecting a downtown bridge when he saw Emma. She was leaving a coffee shop, looking older but more confident. She spotted him across the street and froze. For a moment, they stared at each other through the morning traffic. Emma raised her hand slightly, a hesitant wave. Daniel looked at her for a long moment, then turned and walked away.